Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube news and drama channel. So I'm sure at this point you're all very familiar with the fact that YouTube serves ads. It's kind of how the site operates. It's Google's core business model, not just serving ads here, but also on Google Search, a bunch of third-party websites. It's also my core business model, advertising things like my new clothing drop at qualitycontent.com. So one of the ad formats that Google offers is something called a true view, and they're really common. You may have even seen one before this video started. It's any of the ads that have the skip button that pops up after a few seconds. Just in case you've somehow managed to never see one, this is a recent video of mine, and this is a true view ad. And so the skip button is gonna pop up in 3, 2, 1. And now if I click the skip button here and move on to the video, then Amazon didn't actually get charged there for the impression. I also skipped it because I don't want YouTube to be like, you're boosting your own ads, watching your own videos. That's illegal. You can't do that. I got YouTube Premium, guys. I'm just logged out in this window for demonstration. But anyway, if I had gone and watched that TrueView ad through to completion, then Amazon would have been charged, and they would have been charged a premium. It could be around $100 per 1,000 completed views, which is it's very high. It's $100 CPM. To put into perspective, the best a YouTube channel could probably hope for in their overall CPM, say finance channel during peak crypto mania, probably around a $20 CPM. So $100 is very high, but the reason why is you're also making up for all those attempts to serve the ads that got skipped. And you know that if someone watches through the entire thing to completion when they had the option to skip, it means that that is a very high value set of eyeballs that are probably interested in the product. And of course, this works because it's assumed that the person who is not skipping the ad is actively watching and listening through to the whole thing. And keep that in mind because this is a very important concept that we'll loop right back to in a moment. So now we can start to enter what might end up being a multi-billion-dollar oopsie, which actually isn't playing out directly on YouTube, because did you know that on top of serving these TrueView ads on YouTube, Google also just operates an ad network that third parties can opt into so that they don't have to fill their own ads on their own websites. They can just rev share on their own website, much like you would get if you were uploading a video to YouTube as a partner. So say you're browsing a website, right? Like I'm on Minecraft Wiki right now, and I start to scroll down, and then, oh, a video pops up. Cool. And an ad starts playing. But as I scroll down, right, you see that this thing is playing over in the bottom corner of the website, right? And it's playing all the way through, but I'm reading the text here, right? I'm just focused on whatever I'm looking at on the site. The ad is muted over there. Well, when it comes to a TrueView advertisement on YouTube, or that is being served by Google's ad network, you are expecting, as the advertiser, that if that ad is playing through all the way to completion, that they're listening to it and that they're actively watching it. But in this case, right, I'm reading about Minecraft because, the ad's it's off to the side and it's muted. So I'm sure you can sort of start to see where the problem is coming in, because according to Google, with TrueView ads, advertisers pay for actual views of their ads rather than impressions. It also states that TrueView ads must be skippable, audible, and playing the video cannot be solely initiated by passive user scrolling, all of which I just did. I do just want to quickly say, for safety, I don't know with absolute certainty that the ad we just saw on the Minecraft Wiki is a Google TrueView. It could be another ad network. In fact, the design of the skip button there didn't exactly match up how it usually shows for Google TrueView specifically. So this was just a demonstration of how things could look for educational purposes. Right, anyway, so obviously some people who are involved in advertising, they're going about their normal business, browsing websites, reading news articles and things like that, and they start to notice, like, wait a minute, this down here, like in this example, is a Google TrueView ad that's playing in the bottom corner of the screen, but my full focus is on the article. I'm reading that. It's muted over there. And I thought that Google TrueView ads were supposed to be something that is occupying your full attention, playing with audio when you're viewing it. So this doesn't seem like the proper environment that's being promised when an advertiser is opting into TrueView. Like in this case, most people are probably just going to leave the ad alone, right? It's not obstructing their ability to read the text. They may not even be interested in the video that's set to play after it. And so it's just going to cruise all the way through on mute. And that advertiser is going to be charged thinking that that person was genuinely interested in the product, and therefore That's why they watched it. So enough people in advertising seem to notice this that it gets back around to a company called Analytics. And just a few days ago, they released this absolutely gigantic report detailing out the entire situation. I'll link it below. There is a lot. My video exists as a way to sort of summarize and shorten this. They get really technical here, but if you want to check it out, you can. It's called "Did Google Mislead Advertisers About TrueView Skippable In-Stream Ads for the Past 3 Years?" which is a pretty major claim, because we're talking billions and billions and billions of ad dollars spent by these companies in these ad campaigns under the assumption that the ads are going to be viewed in a way that lives up to the standard written in Google's guidelines. And that standard kind of being just how these ads are shown on YouTube. Like, YouTube as a platform is fine, and the reason is that's because it is a Google platform, and they are able to control the environment. And on YouTube, generally, the thing of interest, which is the video that someone is trying to watch, that is gated behind an ad. So you kind of have to go through that ad, and therefore your attention is gonna be on that ad, waiting for the target video to start playing that you are there to watch. That standard is like a lot harder to uphold when it comes to third-party websites, right? Like the example we showed down there, where it's the ad that's, played off to the side when you're just there reading the text, right? That ad is not gating your ability to read the text, which is your main focus on that page. And that's the thing, right? Those websites, they want to be able to show ads via whatever means necessary because it allows them to survive and sustain themselves just like YouTubers are able to. And so they want people to, stick around, use the site, and making the ads less intrusive gives people the better user experience on those sites. And so therefore it's in the website's interest to find a way to display these things where it's not going to drive people away. So you kind of have the intentions and interests in different places between Google wanting the ads to be properly served and the websites wanting their users to be happy with the site experience. And you may be wondering, why would a brand even advertise on these third-party sites instead of just sticking to YouTube right here where they can give me all their money? One reason I can imagine would be targeting. A brand might think that the user base on a particular site is more targeted and probably interested in something that they're offering than whatever targeting tools that they can use on YouTube. So in the analytics report, they give an example of the spending for an unnamed brand, and it shows that only 16% was actually spent on YouTube. Now, those were valid true views, of course, but then it shows that a very small slice of the remainder of the TrueView ads that were all shown on third-party websites were actually valid. This has been my trusty companion since high school. 11 divided by 84. So only 13% of the ads, the TrueView ads shown on third-party websites, were actually valid, where the person watching it, it was like their full focus. And they go on to show some more examples. The general theme is like, it'll be an article, and then the TrueView ad is kind of like tucked away to the side where it's just gonna autoplay on mute all the way through while the person reads through the article. I don't know what's happening on this one. They got two simultaneous TrueViews playing at different sizes for the same website though, for Kayak. Like, interesting on that one. And Analytics goes on to list some of the brands that they claim may have purchased the muted auto-playing TrueView ads, and there's a lot. And this isn't all of them, but just some of the big ones you may recognize their names. It just goes for a little bit. I think the thing that surprised me most about the example that they used was the fact that only 16% of the budget was spent directly on YouTube and the rest was on third-party sites. And if we're to take Google's response, which we'll get to in a moment, to all this, then it's definitely like a pretty big outlier to the normal way that the budgets are allocated. But it's all going to come down to, did Google, even if unintentionally, falsely advertise their advertising to advertisers? So Google did issue a statement responding to the report because it's kind of a big deal, right? Alleging that almost all of the ad views on third-party sites that they serve are not living up to what the brands are paying for. And one of the big things that they highlight is they say that like this pie chart is definitely not a representation of the general ad spends when it comes to like spending on YouTube versus spending on third party. And they basically say that most of the brands are primarily advertising on YouTube with like a little extra bonus sprinkled in to the third-party websites. And then they do get into what I thought would be the biggest defense for something like this, which would be them saying, look, we just serve the ads, and all of these websites that sign up for the Google Video Partner Network, like, they agree to terms of service. And so if they are not displaying the ads properly, that's them violating the terms of service. It's not us. And then they say that last year they terminated partnerships with more than 143,000 sites for violating the policies. That's a lot of sites to terminate. Oh my God. So this is a situation that's very likely to lead to lawsuits. You know, like I said in the Supreme Court video, I'm like, okay, so this got sorted out, but I'm sure something else is going to pop up in the not too distant future, and this might be it. And so the question is going to be, A, did the TrueView ads served on the third-party websites violate what was promised to the advertisers? And if yes, then whose fault is it? Is it the websites for not living up to the terms of service they signed up to? Or is it on Google's end to more properly enforce that? And we won't know until that gets sorted out in the legal system. If the whole thing fully goes against Google, though, it could be massive, many billions in refunds for advertisements that didn't live up to the promises, which would be a pretty big hit, I would have to imagine. As far as the implications right now, though, you might be wondering, okay, how does this tie back into YouTube? Are you going to be in trouble? Are YouTubers going to be in trouble here? And actually, I think that if anything, it would be more of a boost to YouTube, because if advertisers think that they can no longer trust having their ads displayed on the third-party sites, they would be more inclined to take whatever that budget was and just bring it back onto YouTube, because it's a platform that's under Google's control and serves the ads in a quality-controlled environment that they know they're getting what they're paying for. So in fact, for someone like me or other YouTubers, where like 99.9% of their views are coming from YouTube itself, it actually could bring more people to advertising directly on those videos. So I've seen some folks saying, oh God, it's going to be bad for YouTubers as a result of this. I actually think it could have the opposite effect, but could be harmful to third-party websites that have been able to earn an income via the Google Video Partner Network, if that trust starts to erode away and advertisers aren't as willing to spend on that. So it's going to be an interesting one. But in the meantime, when it comes to advertising, make sure you check out qualitycontent.com. Link below for the new drop while supplies last. I'll see you next time.